Hai, Assalamualaikum. Apa khabar semua? Dr. Ija, ya. Hari ini saya akan teruskan kuliah kita yang bertajuk Tujuan dan Peranan Pendidikan Tinggi Swasta di Malaysia. So, we are going to continue with our lecture on the purpose and the role of the private education, especially higher institution in Malaysia. Tidak dinafikan bahawa kerajaan tidak dapat menampung kekurangan kira-kira 150,000 tempat belajar di peringkat pendidikan tinggi. Ya, bagi setiap 100 orang yang layak, pusat pendidikan tinggi di negara ini hanya mampu menawarkan tempat kepada 33 atau 34 pelajar sahaja. Jadi rentetan daripada ini disebabkan oleh IPTA tidak dapat menampung bilangan pelajar yang banyak. Selepas menamatkan SPM, maka IPTS ataupun institusi pengajian tinggi swasta perlu memainkan peranan untuk mengambil pelajar-pelajar lepasan SPM ini. Dan apakah sebenarnya pendidikan swasta? Ya, pendidikan swasta merujuk kepada pendidikan yang disediakan kepada pelajar oleh institusi pendidikan swasta. So di Malaysia kita ada pendidikan awam dan juga pendidikan swasta. Ya. In Malaysia we have public education, public institution and also a private institution. So institusi pendidikan swasta adalah institusi bukan bantuan kerajaan dan ianya dibiayai sepenuhnya oleh sektor swasta. Ya. Maksudnya kerajaan tidak mengeluarkan belanja ataupun memberi funding ataupun kewangan kepada institusi pendidikan swasta untuk mengoperasikan institusi tersebut. Ya. Ianya dibiayai sepenuhnya oleh sektor swasta. So in private education or in private institution, the government does not provide any funding for the particular institution to operate their production. Okey, apakah ataupun mari sekarang kita lihat kepada latar belakang pendidikan swasta di Malaysia. Jika kita lihat bermula sejak 1950-an, ya, pendidikan swasta ini telah wujud di Malaysia. Ya, the private education has been started since the year of 1950s. Ya, sebagai laluan kepada pelajar yang tidak dapat meneruskan pengajian di sekolah-sekolah kerajaan bagi memperolehi sijil-sijil asas mereka. Ya. Dan pada awal 1970-an, terdapat anjakan terhadap peranan dan fungsi sistem pendidikan swasta di mana pengusaha pendidikan swasta mula mementingkan kursus-kursus prauniversiti. So in Malaysia, it was started in the year 1950s where the government have given the opportunity for the private institution to operate their business, and since 1970s, most of the private institution has realized that it is very important to offer a pre-university courses to the student instead of just a normal courses in their institution. Dan bergerak ke 1980-an, ya, telah menyaksikan pendidikan swasta memainkan peranan dan tanggungjawab yang penting bagi menyediakan pendidikan tinggi, ya, kursus-kursus yang membawa kepada kelayakan di peringkat sijil, diploma dan ijazah. Okey. Dan pendidikan swasta di Malaysia telah mendapat pengiktirafan antarabangsa apabila kebanyakan daripada program pengajiannya diterima oleh kebanyakan universiti di luar negara yang terkenal untuk kemasukan ke peringkat ijazah. So it start in the year of 1980s. Most of private institutions, the private education sectors had offered certificates, diploma and also degree for their courses by the students, and since then, since 1980s, most of the courses have been accredited and also recognized by the international institution or outsiders, it has been recognized internationally, meaning that the graduates who have finished the diploma, they can further their study in the degree courses overseas after they have finished it in Malaysia. Okay, so kategori pendidikan swasta di Malaysia secara amnya terbahagi kepada dua kategori, iaitu bermula daripada prasekolah hinggalah ke pendidikan tinggi. Maka dua kategori yang saya maksudkan adalah institusi pendidikan swasta IPS dan institusi pendidikan tinggi swasta ataupun IPTS. So there are two category of private education in Malaysia, starting from the preschool until higher education, which is the private education institution and the institution for private education involving higher education. Yeah. Okay, kita lihat dulu kepada institusi pendidikan swasta. Ya, institusi pendidikan swasta menawarkan pendidikan daripada peringkat prasekolah, sekolah rendah hinggalah ke peringkat menengah. Kategori yang perlu didaftarkan dengan Kementerian Pendidikan ya, termasuklah tadika swasta, sekolah rendah, sekolah menengah dan kesemua kurikulum kebangsaan perlu digunakan ya. Dan ada penilaian yang dicadangkan. Selain daripada itu, ada sekolah agama swasta yang mengikuti kurikulum kebangsaan, sekolah persendirian Cina ya, juga mengikuti garis panduan Kementerian Pendidikan, sekolah expatriate for those who come from the overseas ya. We have international school ya, sekolah antarabangsa, tuition center, but still using the current curriculum or national curriculum. We have learning center, language center, computer center, pusat kemahiran ataupun perdagangan ya, entrepreneurship center, sekolah gaya pos dan lain-lain lah. Dan kalau kita lihat kepada institusi pendidikan tinggi swasta, IPTS dikelolakan oleh sektor swasta bagi menawarkan kursus untuk para pelajar lepasan sijil pelajaran Malaysia, sijil pelajaran Malaysia vocational, senior middle tree dan sijil tinggi pelajaran Malaysia bagi mendapatkan sijil, diploma dan juga ijazah. Ya. Jadi kumpulan IPTS yang perlu didaftarkan dengan Kementerian Pendidikan ialah institusi pendidikan tinggi swasta, universiti swasta, kolej universiti swasta, kampus cawangan universiti swasta dan juga pusat pengajian jarak jauh ya. So for private higher education institution, most of it have operated by the private sector. Courses that been offered are certificate, diploma and also degree courses, and a group of higher private institution need to recognized by the Ministry of Education. They need to recognized by the Ministry of Education, and this include the private institution, private university, private college, yeah, the branches of the university, yeah, private university. All of these need to be under the KPM or Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia or Ministry of Higher Education, yeah. So secara amnya terdapat dua kategori institusi pendidikan tinggi mengikut status mereka, IPTS yang bukan bertaraf universiti, kolej universiti ataupun kampus cawangan, IPTS yang bertaraf universiti, kolej universiti atau kampus cawangan, dan hanya IPTS yang ditauliah status sebagai universiti atau kolej universiti oleh Kementerian Pendidikan dibenarkan menawarkan program ijazah dalaman. Sekarang kita akan bincangkan mengapa berlakunya pertumbuhan pendidikan tinggi swasta. Why does the private institution growing like a mushroom? Ya? Okey, dapat dilihat daripada ia dilihatkan ataupun disebabkan oleh peningkatan bilangan dan jenis institusi pendidikan tinggi swasta, peningkatan jumlah pelajar yang belajar di kolej-kolej swasta, peningkatan penawaran kursus-kursus, ya. And we can see that the number of private institutions have been increases tremendously Ya, kalau kita lihat in year 1992 from 156 to 354 in 1996, ya. So exponentially increasing. So permintaan sosial yang semakin meningkat dalam kalangan masyarakat di Malaysia due to the social demands of community in Malaysia. That's why there's an increasing of private institution in Malaysia, yeah, because those students who have finished their SPM, yeah, want to further their study, and because they cannot enroll in the public institution, they have to go for private institution. So kalau anda melayari URL ini, ia akan membawa anda kepada statistik pendidikan tinggi 2018. So mohon lihatlah ya statistik ini nanti. Dan kalau kita lihat kepada carta ini ya, from this table we can see that the number of IPTS ya is actually the total number is 510 ya, 510, which include the private university, private college, the branches and the colleges itself. The total is 510. But previously in 2002, yeah, the number of institution is 534. Yeah, so if we compare from 534 and 510, there is a slightly decrease. Maybe because of the merging, yeah, pencantuman antara college-college yang kecil itu menjadi college university. So these are example of private institution, ya, distant learning and also national universities. So this is national universities, ya, is a private university. However, they are running a private courses, ya, private courses, which those who enroll for the courses, they need to pay extra money compared for those who are just taking it under normal fee. Okay, these are more international university with campus in Malaysia. Even though it's in Malaysia, we still have a university from overseas such as Nottingham, Monash, Cochin University, Swinburne, so on and so forth. Okay, these are 7 private university colleges in Malaysia. On top of the list is Lim Kok Wing, and then we have Sedaya, Kuala Lumpur Infrastructure. We have HELP, we have Sunway University College, yeah, and these are private colleges. So, apakah faktor-faktor perkembangan mendadak pendidikan tinggi swasta di Malaysia? Yeah, what caused there's a tremendous increasing of private institution in Malaysia? Hal ini disebabkan oleh pendemokrasian pendidikan menengah lah, ya, iaitu peningkatan permintaan sosial ke atas pendidikan tinggi, di mana IPTA tidak dapat memenuhi peningkatan tersebut, ya. IPTA, the public institution cannot support the number of students who want to enroll or who want to further their study in the institution. So that is why it need to be supported by the private institution, ya. Dan kekangan peruntukan kewangan kerajaan ke atas pendidikan tinggi, ya. The government do not have much money to support higher institution or higher education. That's why they have to sub it into the private institution. And of course, there's a limited space, limited numbers who can enroll in the IPTA. Besides that, due to the ethnic quota, yeah, the systems where the non-Bumi, yeah, non-Bumi cannot enroll the public institution because there are certain quota for them. So they need to find other opportunities of furthering their study outside Malaysia. Yeah, so maybe they need to go to international, you know, they have to go to outside Malaysia, other country in Malaysia. So because of that, government do not want the student to go study abroad. So they agree, yeah, they agree for more private institution to be developed in the country, yeah. So, peningkatan yuran pengajian di IPT luar negara disebabkan peningkatan nilai tukaran asing, peluang kepada pelajar berkemampuan. And furthermore, if the students agree or think they want to study abroad, they have to think about the currency of that particular country. For example, in UK, in pound sterling, using pound sterling, the currency is very high. So, due to that, they cannot afford it. They cannot afford to pay for their fee and also for travelling and expenses. So that's why they want to study in Malaysia instead. Oleh itu, untuk memenuhi peningkatan permintaan terhadap pendidikan tinggi dan berbadan kewangan, ya, kerajaan menggalakkan sektor swasta memainkan peranan yang aktif dalam menyediakan pendidikan tinggi di negara ini. So, because of the factors, the government allow the private institution to develop more of their institution to support, yeah, the numbers of students who want to further their study in Malaysia and not abroad. Yeah. So what is dasar penswastaan? Ya, apakah dasar penswastaan? Dasar penswastaan ialah suatu proses pemindahan kepentingan atau pelaburan atau hak milik kerajaan yang tertentu kepada pihak swasta. Ya, the transferring of hak, nak transferkan hak tu daripada kerajaan pergi ke pihak swasta. Ya, dilancarkan di Malaysia pada tahun 1983 oleh ketika itu Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri lah, Datuk Seri Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Rasional yang mempengaruhi dasar penswastaan, ya, di antara rasional yang mempengaruhi dasar penswastaan ialah dapat mengurangkan beban kewangan dan pentadbiran kerajaan seperti gaji, pencen, pinjaman kewangan, dapat meningkatkan kecekapan mutu perkhidmatan atau barangan kerana sektor swasta lebih mengutamakan keuntungan, ya. Ia lebih cenderung untuk meningkatkan produktiviti, dapat mengurangkan dan mengawal pertumbuhan serta saiz sektor awam dalam sesebuah negara dan dapat mempercepatkan dan meningkatkan pertumbuhan ekonomi negara melalui pelaburan dan penyertaan sektor swasta. Okey, kita akan melihat kepada program pendidikan yang ditawarkan. Ya, jenis pendidikan yang ditawarkan oleh kolej swasta adalah program dalaman, program akademik luar di peringkat lepasan menengah, kursus separuh profesional dan juga profesional luaran. Ya. Okey, kita lihat yang pertama iaitu program dalaman oleh kolej swasta. Okey, dia menawarkan kursus kepada pelajar sepenuh masa atau separuh masa. Ya. The private institution in Malaysia giving an internal program where they offer full-time or part-time courses, yeah, for the student. And usually the student will be awarded with certificate or diploma for the courses that they enrolled. Yeah. And for the higher institution such as university or college university, most of them only offer a degree level. How about the academic program? Yeah. Luar akademik luar, program akademik luar di peringkat lepasan menengah, ya. RPTS menyediakan para pelajar untuk menduduki peperiksaan akhir yang disediakan oleh beberapa badan peperiksaan luar tempatan maupun luar negara. These are more into the certain exam, ya, international exam that needed to be taken by the candidate in the country, ya. Such as A-level, ya, GCE A-level, JCE O-level, LCCI, okay, we have SAM, WATI, OSSD. These are all examination that actually should be taken outside, yeah, in other country, but the other country offer it in Malaysia, so the private institution offer it for the candidate who want to take the examination. The private institution also offer semi-professional and professional luaran lah, outsiders professional, external professional, yeah. Okay, so the IPTS also provide tutorial, yeah, to guide and to prepare the candidate to sit for the professional examination, yeah. For example, exam board such as CLP, MACPA, IBBM, so on and so forth. And the IPTS also provide courses for the level of master and also PhD, yeah, in some institution. Okay. They also do a training program, advanced standing, external degree, and also distant education. So how does the government control over the private institution? Yeah, we have one kita ada satu jabatan pendidikan swasta lah under the Ministry of Education. We have one department where they control the private institution that registered under the Ministry of Education. We have laws and regulation, of course, ada constitution, to control the private institution. And we have accreditation agency, which is the Malaysian Quality Agency, external examiners, and of course the government, very strict in controlling the cost and the curriculum as well as the quality of the private institution. Okay, as for the laws and constitution, all private institution must obey these following laws, Akta Pendidikan 1996, peraturan-peraturan yang dibuat di bawahnya, Akta Institusi Pendidikan Tinggi Swasta 1996, Akta Majlis Pendidikan Tinggi Negara, Akta Universiti, Akta Lembaga Akreditasi dan Akta Perbadanan Pendidikan Tinggi Nasional 1997. So by hook or by crook, all the private institution need to follow this constitution, or else the license will be taken away from them, by the Ministry of Education. So these are the role of the department who control over the private institution. They make sure that all the rules, the curriculum, the quality are followed by certain accreditation. Okay. Okay, you can read this in the slide. These are all the constitution or the law that need to be obeyed by all the private institution if they want to operate their institution. So, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia ataupun Ministry of Education is very strict in ensuring the quality of the education offered by the private institution. So now let us look at what would be kekuatan, what would be the advantage of IPTS. Apakah kekuatan IPTS? Kurangkan beban kerajaan, lowering down the burden by the government. Peluang pendidikan yang lebih terbuka. Because of having the private institution, it allow many students to further their study. And it give competition, persaingan to the IPTA. So the private institution actually giving a healthy competition with the public institution. Okay, and for this, the quality of the education will increase from time to time. And it encourage the research and development to occur in institution. And for this also, it will increase the economic prosperity will happen from time to time also. And apakah kelemahan IPTS? What would be the disadvantages of the IPTS? You know that if you go for IPTS, you will need to pay a lot of money for enrolling into the private institution. Okay, and most of the private institution, they are focusing more on the commercialization, not on giving certain benefit to the student, but most on the commercialization, publicity, and lack of staff working at the private institution, making the institution not so quality, because they cannot control the quality because they need to pay a lot for the academic staff. And of course there are a lot of penipuan and penyelewengan berlaku di IPTS. Kuasa monopoli kerajaan berkurangan jugalah. The government cannot take control of the private institution because it's private. So ini adalah isu kolej swasta bersaiz kecil. Kebanyakan IPTS yang ditubuhkan adalah kolej-kolej swasta bersaiz kecil dan kurang efisien operasinya. Persoalan yang timbul, apakah pendidikan yang disediakan oleh kolej-kolej tersebut pada tahap kualiti yang diperlukan atau ditetapkan oleh kerajaan. So saiz yang kecil mengakibatkan kolej-kolej tersebut menghadapi kesukaran dalam menyediakan ruang dan fasiliti yang lengkap kepada pelajar. Okay. So issues regarding the small private institution is that they cannot manage well their private institution in terms of the administration, in terms of funding, in terms of money control. So because of that, lack of quality from these small colleges. So sometimes they need to close down or maybe merge with another colleges. Yeah. Okay, this would be the issues of science and education. You can read that by yourself. Right, this would be the differences between penswastaan dan pengkorporatan. Ya. Nak translate pun tak erti. Ya, corporate and private. Okay, so pengkorporatan adalah badan berkanun, manakala penswastaan adalah bukan badan berkanun. Okay, pengkorporatan UST, ya, contohnya masih dimiliki sepenuhnya oleh kerajaan. Tapi kalau penswastaan, saham dimiliki oleh perseorangan atau syarikat-syarikat tertentu. Dan pengurangan peruntukan dana kewangan kerajaan, walau bagaimanapun kerajaan masih menyumbang terbesar dana untuk penswastaan dibiayai sepenuhnya oleh institusi. For example, USM is corporate, is corporate and not private. Okay, corporate means the government still give funding to the university. If private, the government does not give any fund to the university, which means the university need to find the money by themselves. But like USM, we are corporate institution, meaning that the government still give funding to the university. Yeah. So as a conclusion, sebagai kesimpulan, IPTS wujud hasil daripada pelaksanaan dasar penswastaan pendidikan oleh kerajaan. Ya. Kewujudan IPTS dapat dilihat sebagai sinar baru kepada pihak-pihak yang dahagakan ilmu dan menyokong pelaksanaan amalan demokrasi pendidikan di dunia. Namun ia amat bergantung pada kualiti dan pengurusan IPTS. Ya, ini kerana yang positif selalunya menghasilkan sesuatu yang positif juga pada akhirnya. So as a conclusion, what I can say is that when the government start to give, to allow the private institution to develop, in Malaysia, it's actually a good way, or it give advantages to the students who wanted to further their study. Because IPTA or the public institution could not afford to take many students to enroll to the institution because of the limited space or the limited capacity that they can hold. So that's why the development of the private institution in Malaysia would give advantages for those students to further their study. And of course, government could not afford to form a lot of public institution. So with the development of the private institution, it actually will help the government in terms of funding and also money management. Okay, and we hope that with the development of private institution also, it will make the education in Malaysia become more quality because there is a positive competition between the private and also the public institution. So we need to take it positively. The private institution also contribute to the development of quality education in Malaysia. So for that, I would like to thank you, all of you, for listening to me. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Semoga anda faham tentang apakah IPTA, apakah IPTS dan juga IPS dan peranan IPTS dalam pembangunan kualiti pendidikan yang bagus di Malaysia. Terima kasih dan Assalamualaikum.